the first time people are here is really the story how Jeunesse came to be.
今天我想要跟大家分享的是，我们到底是如何想出这一套杰斯的产品。
We're talking about anti-aging.
我们在谈老化。
We want to be younger and feel younger, so we have to have products that can help us rejuvenate and make us look better.
我们希望有年轻的身体，有年轻的心态，所以我们希望能够有一系列的产品，能够帮助我们做到这一点。
There's genetic reasons, and there's environmental reasons, and there's our habits that influence how we age.
其实造成老化有很多不同的原因，有的是你的基因的导致的，有的是你的生活习惯，那么有的呢，可能就是一些外在环境的因素。
All of those things really do two things to us.
那这些会带来两个主要的后果。
One is oxidation, which destroys our tissues and breaks it down.
第一个是氧化，氧化会让你的细胞跟组织受损。
And the second is the loss of balance, is the loss of function of our tissues.
第二个会让你的组织失去平衡。
So what we're trying to do with anti-aging products is to really undo that.
所以我们所推出一系列的抗老产品，就是要扭转这两个坏处。
And what's unique about Jeunesse and the Luminous skin line is that we use the power and the technology of stem cells.
我们的 Luminous 复活基因系列产品，它之所以跟其他的产品不一样，就是因为我们用的是干细胞的技术。
What are stem cells?
什么是干细胞呢？
There are three things that have to happen for a cell to be a stem cell.
要有3个原因加总起来，才能够造就一个干细胞。
The cell needs to reproduce itself indefinitely.
第一个细胞，它要能够无止境的可以自己不断的复制。
It should be able to become other types of cells to differentiate into more mature kind of cells.
第二个，这个细胞它要能够去刻画、去分裂成不同种类的细胞。
And more importantly for us is that it has to have the capacity to regenerate and rejuvenate tissues.
第3个很重要的一点，干细胞它要能够不断的自己的更新跟再生。
So there are different types of stem cell.
其实干细胞有很多不同的种类。
There are stem cells that come from the man and woman creating humans. That's embryonic stem cells.
第一种干细胞我们叫做胚胎干细胞，其实就是男性跟女性结合的时候所产生的这种干细胞。
And then there is tissue stem cells or adult stem cells that are in every tissue of our body.
第二种干细胞是成人组织的干细胞，其实它在我们成人的体内的每个细胞里面都有。
In medicine, we have over 40 years of experience using this type of stem cells for bone marrow transplantation.
其实，在医学界，我们运用这个成人组织的干细胞用在骨髓移植，已经有40年的研究历史了。
But more recently, we're using the fat from the stem cells from your own fat.
不过最近我们所开发出来的，则是利用你脂肪所抽取出来的干细胞。
The reason we use the fat is because the fat has the most amount of stem cells and is the easiest place to get the fat.
我们为什么要选择脂肪作为干细胞的来源呢？第一个是脂肪里面它所拥有的干细胞数量是最多的，第二个是透过脂肪来抽取干细胞，能够最方便、最容易就能够做到。
It also has very little immunogenicity. It means it doesn't react to the body in a bad way.
同时，它的免疫抗原性也比较低，也就是说，它对你的身体不会起一些不好的反应。
And it has a major function in healing and repairing tissues.
而且从脂肪所抽取出来的干细胞，它能够帮助你的细胞去复育还有再生。
They can become different types of tissues like bone marrow. The fat tissues can become muscle, bone, cartilage, and fat, and help repair the skin.
而且这种干细胞它能够自己再去复 全不同种类的细胞，包含你的心肌细胞、你的肌肉、骨骼细胞、皮肤细胞都可以。
About 15 years ago, I started to develop a surgical procedure called the stem cell lift.
大概在15年前，我开始开发了一项新的技术，叫做干细胞拉提技术。
In this procedure, we took fat from a patient, we separated the stem cells, and then we injected it back into the patient.
这个干细胞拉提技术，它的运行的方式就是我们从这个病患的脂肪细胞里面抽取出它的脂肪细胞之后，再把它的脂肪细胞跟干细胞分离，然后再把干细胞重新注入同一位病人身上。
And we use it for many different applications, for cosmetic applications, for post-cancer reconstruction, for scars, for joints and muscle pain, and for autoimmune diseases.
这种技术的应用层面非常的广泛，有的时候可以用在像是美容保养的层面，有的时候是像你可能是癌症过后癌症后这个重建复育的手术也可以使用。那另外的话，也可以用在膝盖，然后帮助你的膝盖重新复育、重新增生它的细胞。
So here's one of the first patients I treated with his own stem cells.
这个给大家看到的一个案例，这个是我用他自己的干细胞来帮这个病人治疗。
He had a cancer they took out, and they gave him radiation.
大家在左边看到他脸颊有一个凹陷的地方，就是因为他之前罹患癌症，那么在治疗过后，在脸颊的地方留下了一个很大的凹洞。
He was left with a big hole in his face and burned from the radiation on the skin.
除了留下这个凹洞之外，因为的癌症必须要进行化疗，所以这个辐射也让他的皮肤有一点烧烫伤。
They couldn't fix it with traditional surgery, so he came to me. We treated him 8 different times over 2 years, and we fixed his defect.
那么以传统的一些手术方式没有办法解决他这个问题，所以他就来找我。于是呢，我们在2年的时间里面，我们总共做了8次的这样子的手术。然后大家可以看到右边，我们成功解决了他这个问题。
But what impressed me more than anything was what happened to his skin. That the burn and the damage that was done by the radiation almost completely disappeared.
而且这个手术过后，我觉得印象最深刻的就是之前他的皮肤因为镭射因为这辐射所受到的这些烧烫伤，在我们的治疗过后，竟然完全复愈了。
And here's another patient that we did for cosmetic reasons, and you can see how her skin improved.
另外这个病人的案例呢，他是为了要这个美容保养来进行这个手术，你可以看到他的肤质肤况有多显著的提升。
And here's another patient. We can see how much improvement we can see in the skin.
这个也是另外一个病患的例子，可以看到他的皮肤后来变得多么的光滑。
And another one.
也是另外一个例子。
And you can see how the skin is not as damaged. It's got smoother. The texture is better. The color is better.
大家可以从这个照片上可以看到整个肤质变得非常的好，不仅是整个皮肤变得更加光滑匀称，而且整个色泽也是更加的亮。
So we started thinking, what's happening in the skin is happening much faster than we were expecting from a cellular change.
我们看到这个情况，觉得非常的惊讶，因为它在皮肤上给人体造成的改变，跟你在细胞上造成改变的速度相比，比细胞层级造成的改变速度还要快上许多。
Usually it would take 3 to 6 months for these cells to become attached and become part of the tissues and start to show the improvement that we were seeing within a matter of weeks.
其实一般要从细胞层级由里到外看到细胞层级的改变，大概是花上3到6个月的时间。
So we said, it can't just be the cells, it must be something else. It must be something the cells are producing.
所以我就在想啊，会有这么好的效果，可能不只是细胞本身的功效而已，一定是跟细胞所分泌的某个物质有关。
So we took these cells, we put them in a petri dish, and we grew them.
所以我们就把这些细胞收集起来，放到一个培养皿上面开始培养。
And we collected the products that these cells produced.
我们去搜集这些细胞所分泌的物质。
These cells produce a language called cellular factors that they use to communicate with one another.
后来我们发现，这些细胞它会分泌一个物质，我们叫做细胞的生长因子。透过这个生长因子，细胞跟细胞之间可以彼此的互相沟通。
And we took these factors and we said, what happens if we put it on the skin?
我们搜集了这些因子，然后想说，如果把这个因子放到你的皮肤上的话，会发生什么事呢？
So we put it on the skin of this woman who had an ulcer on her leg for months and months. Nothing that we did with traditional treatments helped. And within 2 weeks of putting the serum on, it started healing.
所以后来我们就把这个生长因子涂抹到这个病患的身上。在投影片上大家看到的这个病人，他脚上有一个地方溃烂，好几个月都没有好，怎么样试过各种方法都不行。于是我们后来就把这个生长因子涂抹在溃烂的地方，结果大家就可以看到成效。
And one of my patients calls me one day and says that her grandchild got a burn from hot tea and she wanted to know what to do, and we started using the serum on him, and within a few days he was not in pain, the burn was healing, and within less than 2 months it all healed without scarring.
后来我有一个朋友，他的孙子不小心被热茶烫到了，留下了一些伤口。那么我们就也请他擦上了我们这个细胞的生长因子，结果发现这个伤口复原得很快，而且最后呢，在不但2个月的时间，他的伤口就完全复原了。不仅如此，连一点伤疤都没有留下。
And we said, what happens if we put it on normal skin?
后来我们就想，那如果把这个生长因子涂抹在一般没有受损的肌肤，会是什么样子呢？
And you can see that the crow's feet, the lines around the eyes are much, much better.
大家可以看到，右边是使用前，左边是使用后，你可以看到这个鱼尾纹明显的淡化了。
While I was working on the serum, these lovely couple, Randy and Wendy, showed up in my office.
当我一开始开发这个精华露的时候，Wendy 跟 Randy 有一天就跑来我的诊所找我。
Randy said that his knee was hurting, and he wanted me to use the stem cells to inject his knee to make him feel better.
一开始 Randy 来找我，其实是因为他的膝盖在痛，他说是不是能够请我把干细胞注入到他的膝盖里面，这样就能够改善他的膝盖的状况。
I looked at Randy, I said, I need a little bit of fat.
我就看着 Randy， 我就说，要做到这样，我可能需要一点点脂肪。
And he said, you can take all of this.
他就指着他的肚子说，我这边很多啊，全部拿去。
So when I was done, and I only took a little bit out of fat, he was very disappointed.
结果后来呢，我这个手术其实只需要抽取这么一点点的脂肪出来而已，所以 Randy 他其实有一点失望，怎么只拿这一点点的脂肪？
I injected him with the stem cells to his knee.
我后来把干细胞注入他的膝盖，
He got a little bit better,
他的膝盖确实也改善了状况，
and we became friends.
我们后来就变成很好的朋友。
He asked me, what else do I have with the stem cell technology that he can learn from?
他后来就问我说：“我现在在开发的这个干细胞的技术，有没有什么是他可以学习的呢？”
So I told him about the serum and what we are experiencing and what we can do with it.
所以我就告诉他我刚刚讲的这个富含生长因子的精华露，告诉他我们在进行哪些实验，并且告诉他它可能可以利用在哪些地方。
He looked at me and said, "How many of those do you sell in a week?"
他问我说：“那这种你刚刚说的精华露，你一个礼拜卖几瓶啊？”
And I said, 2 or 3.
我说大概一个礼拜2、3瓶吧。
He goes, "How many do you sell in a month?"
他说：“那你一个月卖几瓶啊？”
I go, maybe 30, 40.
我说大概30、40瓶吧。
And he goes, "How would you like to sell 10,000?"
他就问我说：“这样啊，那你觉得我们来卖1万瓶怎么样？”
I said, "Okay." I had no idea what he's talking about.
我就说：“哦，好啊。”虽然我当时完全不知道他在说什么，我说：“好啊，好啊。”
And that's how Genes was created with the Luminous serum.
这个就是我们 Luminous 复活青春精华露诞生的源头。
And thanks to Genes,
也要特别感谢杰斯。 的最佳代言人。
We are standing here
因为有你们，今天我们才能够站在这边。
and talking about stem cells not as something very new that nobody's heard about, but actually something that you have made it a common name in most of the industry that we're in.
就是因为有各位的努力，所以今天我们站在这里跟大家谈干细胞。对大家来说，干细胞技术不是一个遥不可及、从来没听过的技术，就是因为各位的努力，所以我们现在才能够将干细胞技术推广给大众知道。
So Derived was created, but let's talk about how we get the serum and how we get our stem cell products.
那么讲完了杰斯一开始如何开发出这个新产品，接下来我们就要讲我们怎么制造出这个复活青春精华露。
So my patients come, they donate their fat, and in America, people have a little bit more fat than in Hong Kong or in China.
所以是怎么开始的呢？就是我的病人他们来找我，他们会把他的脂肪捐给我。大家知道，美国人跟亚洲人跟香港人比，这个脂肪细胞是多了点。
And we take the stem cells, we grow them, and we look at them in the laboratory. This is what they look like under the microscope.
于是我们就从这些脂肪细胞抽取出干细胞，然后在细胞皿里面培养。那这边大家看到的是在实验室里面所看到干细胞的样子。
And we basically collect what the cells produce and bottle it.
所以我们就把这一些细胞所分泌的这些生长因子收集起来，放到这个瓶子里面。
So this is a very unique product because it comes from humans in a way that only our bodies understand this language of cellular signaling.
这个产品独一无二，因为它一开始就是从人体的脂肪细胞所抽取出来的，所以它的功效也只有人体才能够理解它这个细胞所传递的讯息。
These signals are consistent of cytokines, growth factors, interleukins, prostaglandins, and all these names that you don't really need to know, but this is what makes the complex of factors that are in the product.
在这个生长因子的复合物里面，有细胞因子、生长因子、解白素，还有其他相关的物质。就是这样，我们才打造了一支独一无二的产品。
So, what do these factors do? They have different jobs. Each factor works in conjunction with the cells to do different tasks.
这些生长因子它的功能是什么呢？其实每一个生长因子都有不同的功用，每一个都负责跟特定的细胞搭配，发挥它最好的功效。
Some are tasked with wound healing, some are tasked with removing wrinkles, some are tasked with antioxidants, some are tasked to whiten the skin, to reduce inflammation, or to detoxify the skin.
有一些生长因子，它是负责修复你的伤口的；有些是负责对抗皱纹；有些是抗氧化的；有些有美白的效果；有一些可以对抗发炎；那么有一些是可以排毒的，它们都有不同的功效。
But what we're really trying to do with all of these is to really restore the balance and replenish those factors in the skin.
不过我们最重要的一点就是它能够重新找回一个肌肤的平衡，能够随时补充你的细胞里面所需要的生长因子。
So when we collect all these factors, we test them and we see what's in it. And here's an example of one of the tests we did.
我们搜集了这些生长因子之后，我们就拿去做一些科学的测试，看一下它里面到底有哪些东西。
Here's another example of a different test we did for them.
这个也是我们所做的另外一项科学的分析。
And we find that there's over 250 factors in our products.
我们发现我们的产品里面有超过250种的生长因子。
But in order to have a skincare line, you can't just have one product.
不过，如果要推出一个完整的产品线的话，不能只有一支产品而已啊。
You have to have a product line that can balance the skin, replenish it, and protect it.
我们需要有一个完整的产品线，才能够达成平衡、补充、保护这三大功效。
So, the new idea, the new paradigm of this thinking is that we don't need to now go and get something that is not our own factors, that our body recognizes. This concept is very novel in the cosmetic industry.
我们所打造出来的这个技术是非常先进新颖的技术，而且我们也成功打造了一个全新的典范。因为现在我们所用的这些生长因子，它不是来自你人体以外的其他地方，它就是来自你的身体本身，所以你的细胞马上就可以认得出来这个生长因子，并且很好吸收。
The combination of these factors, the way we grow the cells and collect it, is most closest to what your own body makes. So I compare this to mother's milk.
那么我们去搜集这些生长因子加以培养的这个过程呢，其实是非常接近你的细胞自己去生成这些生长因子的过程。所以我常常用了一个比喻，就像是母奶一样。
Other products that are not our own may be trying to mimic what mother's milk is, maybe trying to make us think that our skin needs to do something, but they're not meant to be mother's milk, so they can't be as good.
我们的产品就像是母奶一样，那其他的产品就像是母奶以外的产品，像是奶粉或者是配方奶，差别在哪里呢？母奶就是你本来就是你人体自己所生成的，是最自然的一种营养成分。那么其他的奶粉还有配方奶，其实都是要模拟母奶的功效，可是效果绝对没有像母奶这么好。
And it's very important to understand that within what we collect, there are no cells because the cells can't survive in a bottle.
不过要特别说明的一点是，我们所搜集的这些生长因子，它没有干细胞，因为细胞并没有办法在一个瓶子里面生存。
They're basically over 250 physiologically balanced factors that are sterile, are tested, there are no animal products in it, and there are really no real side effects from the product.
那么在我们的产品里面有超过250种生理平衡的因子，而且没有含任何的动物细胞的成分，它是在一个无菌的环境里面，而且没有任何的副作用。
So, we talked about what makes us unique in terms of the growth factors, but also what the function of it is unique. Because the function of these factors, again, is to replenish the skin, to balance it, to stimulate it, to enhance it, to improve the overall health of the skin, and that's really what makes it look younger and more rejuvenated.
所以我们刚刚讲了生长因子为什么这么特别，也谈到了因为生长因子所打造出来的产品为什么有这些特别的功用，因为它可以去补充你身体细胞所需要的这一些养分，并且能够自己去不断的补充，然后呢拿到保护肌肤的功效，所以它能够整体改善你的皮肤的状况。
Another unique feature of the product is that because it is your own, it doesn't need a carrier.
另外一个特色就是因为它一开始就是从人体的细胞所萃取出来的，所以它并不需要一个载体就能够直达肌肤底层。
The skin protects us from everything that's outside of our body. So any product that you use that your body doesn't recognize, it won't let it penetrate. That's why all products need a carrier, need something that will fool the skin and allow it to penetrate inside.
其实我们皮肤一开始设计的机制就是它是保护你的人体的，所以任何外来的物质都要先通过皮肤这一层的阻挡。也就是说，它如果认不出来这个物质是什么，它没有办法让这个物质渗透到你的皮肤里面。这就是为什么一般的产品它都需要有一个载体，才能够把它想要让肌肤吸收的元素透过载体传达到细胞。
But because your body recognizes the factors, they will penetrate through the oil glands, through the sweat glands, through the hair follicles, and as we age, we lose the barrier, so you'll have more cracks and more openings in the skin, and through those openings, the serum will penetrate and go inside the skin.
那么我刚刚说过了，因为我们的产品它一开始就是从人体的细胞所萃取出来的，所以说呢，对你的肌肤来说，它就是人体的细胞，所以它不需要任何的载体，就能够透过汗腺、毛囊这一些地方渗透到你的肌肤里面，让肌肤细胞所吸收。而且随着人体这个年纪大了，你这个皮肤的组织跟组织之间的间隙变大了之后，反而也会让我们的产品更好吸收。
So, the growth factors also do one more thing. Because they communicate with the cells inside the body, they basically is a dialogue, is a talking. So the signal goes to the cell then responds, but the response is in a domino fashion. So you need very little product to get a large response.
除此之外，生长因子还有一个非常特别的功用，就是当它进到你的细胞里面之后，它可以跟你的细胞去彼此沟通，所以你的生长因子还有细胞就展开了一连串的对话，因此打开了一连串的骨牌效应。所以说，你只需要一点点的生长因子，后续的效应就可以非常的惊人。
And each cell talks to the next one next to it, so it goes deeper and wider, and you get a much more deeper and much wider effect than the little product that we put on the skin.
然后呢，这个骨牌效应打开之后，每个细胞又会跟其他的细胞彼此的沟通、传递讯息，所以这个一传十啊，十传百，就这样子整个网络打开了。所以你只需要涂抹一点点的，你的产品它的功效却可以有10倍、100倍的功效。
So why did we choose this one versus the other stem cells? And why is it better?
那为什么我们选择的是脂肪所萃取的干细胞，而不是选择其他地方萃取的干细胞呢？它的优势在哪里呢？
Embryonic derived stem cells are really controversial because there are ethical issues with it.
首先，胚胎干细胞有一些争议，因为会有一些道德的问题。
We also don't really know how to control embryonic stem cells. We don't know how to guide them to where we want them to be. They're really meant to make humans. They're not meant to correct or treat a wound.
而且其实我们也不太清楚要怎么样去控制这些胚胎干细胞，因为胚胎干细胞一开始生成的它的设计的机制就是要制造人类用的，而不是拿来修复你的细胞用的。
Therefore, the factors that they produce are different than the factors that the stem cells from the fat will produce.
所以胚胎干细胞所制造出来的这些因子，跟我们的其他的干细胞所培养出来的这个生长因子是完全不同的。
The next one is from the bone marrow because we have the most amount of experience with it, except bone marrow is supposed to make blood, not tissue.
第二个大家可能会想到的是从骨髓所萃取出来的这些因子或者是干细胞，因为毕竟我们在骨髓的这个领域已经研究很久了。那为什么不选择这一个呢？因为其实这个干细胞它主要的功用是拿来制造血液用的，而不是拿来做其他的用途。
So it doesn't make sense to take cells that are meant to make blood to heal and repair the skin tissues.
所以说，你把这个本来要拿来制造血液的干细胞拿来，然后想要来生长其他的细胞因子，其实这是有点不太合理的。
And then, of course, there's a lot of products out there with plant-derived stem cells, as they call it, or factors, because those factors are being chosen one by one, so you don't get the full complex array of factors.
那么，此外，市面上很多的产品，他们会说，我们所用的干细胞或者是生长因子是从植物所萃取出来的。那这个问题是什么呢？问题就是，如果你是从植物所萃取出来的，你一次就只能从这个植物萃取一种生长因子，你没有办法有一个很完整的生长因子的大集合。
They're not the same type of factors, and they can't penetrate into the skin just like we talked about because they're not human, so they will need carriers.
不同的植物所萃取出来的生长因子，每个不同，它们没有办法彼此很好的交融，而且就像我刚刚说的，毕竟植物萃取出来的这些生长因子不是你人体本来的细胞，所以它没有办法像我们的产品一样，能够那么顺利的直接直达肌肤底层。
So again, we're going to summarize why the Lumina serum and the product line is so unique.
最后，我们就总结一下，为什么我们的 Luminous 复活青春精华露，还有 Luminous 复活基因产品系列，为什么如此独特的原因？
Because it uses a physiologic balance of soluble factors from stem cells that are meant to heal and treat and rejuvenate the skin tissues.
因为它一开始就是从这一些本来就是要拿来更新修复用的这些干细胞所抽取出来、所制造出来的身体平衡的可溶性因子。
And we've added synergistically, so they work optimally with our product, the other ingredients in the rest of the line to have the most antioxidant, sun protection, and moisturizing effects to repair the damaged tissues that we have over the years and to really rejuvenate the skin.
此外，因为我们的生产、我们的技术，所以我们能够让这个里面的生长因子跟其他的成分做最有效的结合，达到纵效，而因此能够达成许多的功效，包含了抗氧化、防晒、锁水、抗老。总而言之，就是可以修复肌肤，达到逆龄的功效。
Okay, so we're redefining use. In order to do that, you need to do three things for proper skincare. You need to balance, repair, and protect the skin.
那么我要再次强调，你想要让皮肤有很好的肤况的话，一定要做到3个步骤。这3个步骤就是平衡、补充、保护。
And all of this really can be done with 3 steps. You can clean it, treat it, and lock in the protection.
那么要怎么做到呢？有3个步骤。首先是先清洗，然后保养，最后把养分锁在你的皮肤里面。
So the first product is our use cleansing. So the cleanser in the morning and at night is the first thing you should do to wipe away all the dirt, open up the pores, and restore the balance of the pH to the skin. The pH balance of the skin, the optimum is 5.5, and that's what we're really trying to achieve so we can get the rest of the products to work really well.
那么我们第一个产品就是我们的 Luminous 复活基因洁颜露。这个洁颜露呢，就是你一开始早晚的时候洗脸的时候用的。那洗脸的时候用我们的产品，可以把脏污洗掉，让你的毛孔张开，让你的皮肤恢复最佳的酸碱值。那所谓最佳的酸碱值是 pH 5.5，所以我们一开始就是希望通过我的洁颜露，让你的皮肤维持最好的酸碱值状态，然后才能够让之后的产品能够有效吸收。
Right after you wash, the first thing that should go on the skin is the serum, because the serum needs to penetrate through those pores in the skin. So you don't want to block it with anything. You want to put that on as the first thing.
那清洗完脸之后，第一个要擦上去的产品一定是我们的 Luminous 复活青春精华露，因为这个时候你的毛孔是清洗干净了、张开了，正是吸收精华露最好的时候，所以千万不要用其他的东西来堵塞你的毛孔了。
In the morning, we need to protect ourselves from the sun, and we need to moisturize the skin, and we need to use the antioxidants and to protect it and to help the serum penetrate deeper into the skin.
那么在白天的时候，因为我们要做好防晒，要达成抗氧化的功效，所以我们要给皮肤有这个锁水保湿。
The daily moisturizing complex that you put in the morning has an SPF of 30.
所以我们的 Luminous 复活保湿日霜，它的 SPF 值是30。
When I was in college, I actually did the first studies on sunscreens for UVA, and we found that when you did an SPF of 30, you got 98% protection from the rays of the sun.
其实我在大学的时候，我们帮 UVA 做了一个这个防晒系数的研究，我们发现 SPF 也就是防晒系数30的时候，它也能够有效遮蔽98%的紫外线。
But that only lasts for a few hours. So if you're going to be out over 2 hours, we recommend that you reapply the sunscreen moisturizer every 2 hours if you're in the sun, and if you're not in the sun, every 4 hours.
那么，因为这个防晒系数它的功用大概是维持2个小时左右，就是必须要去补充这个防晒。所以说，如果你是在室外的话，我们建议每2个小时就要补擦1次复活保湿日霜；如果是在室内的话，建议是每4个小时补充1次。
And then in the evening, the Advanced Night Repair has a synergistic amount of growth factors, antioxidants, vitamins, and even a DNA repair product that helps to repair the damage from the sun rays.
那么在晚上的话，我们有这一支产品叫做复活基因修复霜，它里面的生长因子、维他命还有抗氧化剂，正好是跟我们其他的产品线做最好的搭配，能够达成奏效。
The products are not the same. They work synergistically, so the vitamins and antioxidants they work in different places. So you get the benefits of both in the morning and at night.
事实上，我们的复活基因修复霜跟复活保湿日霜，它里面所含的维他命还有抗氧化剂的成分是完全不一样的，所以这两个呢同时使用可以达成最好的搭配。
But some of our patients want to bathe in our serum and the products.
那有一些我们的客户呢是想说啊，最好是可以全身都擦到我们这个产品，这样不是最好吗？
So we made the Essential Body Renewal, which contains all the products into one.
所以我们才开发这一支复活基因媒体霜，它等于是结合了所有产品的优点。
So we have the growth factors, we have the antioxidants, and we have the vitamins and moisturizers. And you can use it twice a day. And if you feel dry, you can use it more often.
这个复活基因媒体霜里面有生长因子、有抗氧化剂、有维他命，还有各种保湿的成分，一天可以擦2次。那如果你觉得皮肤这个时候状况比较干燥的话呢，也可以擦更多次。
And then people wanted to see an instant facelift.
那有一些人他想要看到皮肤有立即拉提的效果。
So we created the ultimate lifting mask, where you can put it on, you leave it on for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and let the mask dry, and then peel it off.
所以我们才开发出这个复活基因水面膜，它的用法就是你把它敷在脸上，大概是让它停留15到20分钟的时间，然后再把面膜撕下来。
This gives you an instant tightening and lifting of the skin that will last about 4 to 6 hours.
那么面膜撕下来之后，你就会发现皮肤有立即紧致拉提的效果，大概可以维持4到6个小时。
But besides the immediate effect, it does a lot of things long term.
但是除了立即可见的功效之外，它也有更多是长远来看很好的好处。
It helps to take away the dead skin layer, open up the pores, and allow for the products to penetrate better and work better.
它能够去去除这些老旧的角质，能够打开你的毛孔，所以能够让其他的产品能够更好的被皮肤所吸收。
We recommend everyone to use it at least once a week, but it is safe and gentle enough to be used every day.
所以我们很推荐大家大概至少1个礼拜能够敷我们这个复活基因水面膜1次。不过我们产品非常的温和，所以大家每天敷复活基因水面膜也是没有问题的。
So here is an example of what we can do with the neck. Neck is very difficult to treat. Even with surgery and lasers, we can't get really good results. And here, within a few days, you can see the change in the neck.
大家在这边可以看到，我们把产品涂抹在脖子上，对于颈纹改善的功效有多么的良好。大家知道，在所有的皱纹里面，颈纹是最难处理的一种，不管是用哪一种手术或者是雷射，其实效果都很有限。但是呢，你看了擦了我们的产品之后，马上就有这么明显的功效。
One of the Genes distributors sent me her picture saying how after 2 weeks her skin had improved so much.
这个照片其实是一个经销商寄给我的，他说他用了 Genes 杰斯的产品，2个礼拜之后皮肤就有这么大的改善。
So after seeing all this and believing all this, I wasn't going to stop there. I wanted to have a clinical study from a third party to show us that what I say is true. So we sent, and here's an example, 44% reduction in this patient that came and did the study, and you can see the count on the skin.
那么在这边可以看到这一个研究，这个受试者呢，他在短短2个月的时间里面，他的色斑就减少了44%。
But what is amazing to me is the response of all the participants in the study was that 100%, all the people in the study said they would recommend it to their parents, and they would use it themselves.
那么，在这个由第三方的研究室所做的科学调查里面，让我觉得最惊讶的是，所有参与这个研究的受试者，每个人100%都说他们一定会将这个产品推荐给身边的亲朋好友，而且他们一定会继续使用我们的产品。
They said their skin felt tighter, it felt younger, more moisturized, and they liked that they looked more youthful.
他们说，用了洁丝这一系列的产品之后，他们的皮肤更加的紧致，更加的保湿，而且整个改善肤质的状况，让整个人看起来都变年轻了。
So when I was in Australia a few weeks ago, I showed those pictures to patients, to the audience, and then afterwards he comes up to me and says, "Look at my pictures."
另外呢，我在几个礼拜之前，我在澳洲，我也是给当时的这个观众看了刚刚给大家看的这些照片。结果呢，我演讲结束之后，就有一个澳洲的这个参与会者跑来找我，他说：“你看我的照片，我也是最好的见证者。”
In about 2 weeks, he got this result.
在短短2个礼拜就看到了这个功效。
And in less than 2 months,
就是2个月就有这么大的效果。
So I walk and I say, "Thank you, send me the pictures." He sends them to me so I can show it to you. And then I'm walking down the street and she comes up to me.
所以我就对这个结果感到太惊讶了，我请他把照片寄给我，他后来确实就寄给我，今天才可以跟大家分享。结果呢，我离开那个会场之后，又遇到另外一个女性。
She goes, "I want to show you my mother."
她说：“我给你看一下我妈妈的照片。”
When I look at the picture, the before picture is her, which she calls her mother.
结果大家看，他给我看的照片其实是他使用我们产品前还有使用产品后的照片。结果呢，他自己就笑说：“哎呀，这个使用前的照片根本就是我妈妈的照片嘛。”
And this is another person who sent me their pictures. After 60 days of using, you can see how the skin is improved. Everything is more even toned and cleaner.
那么这个是另外一个案例，可以看到在使用的2个月之后，可以看到整个皮肤它的状况都更加的匀称，更加的光滑。
But even with all that, some of my patients still tried to test me. One of my patients took the serum and went home, said, "I'm going to use it." Use it on one hand, comes back after a month and says, "Look, what a difference." So I took a picture of it for you.
除此之外，我的有一些病患呢，他也想要挑战一下我们的产品是不是真的这么神奇呢？所以他们就拿了我们的产品回去，然后他用2只手自己做实验，1只手擦，然后1只手没有擦，结果使用过后，他就跑来找我说真的有差，然后我就把这个拍下来作为证明。
So if you have pictures you want to share with me, please go to my website. Contact me, send it to me. I would love to have it.
所以，如果各位也亲眼见证我们洁丝产品的神奇功用的话呢，非常的欢迎各位到我的网站上，然后上面有我的信箱，请大家一定要把你们见证的这个神奇照片寄给我。
I thank you, my Jeunesse family. Thank you for being ambassadors of this product. Thank you.